So the first fire we wanted to show you today is the Swedish fire torch. It's the original of the two we'll be showing you. This fire is self-fueling and it's really easy to put together, so let's take a look at it. So as you can see, one of the really great things about this is it only takes one log. You want to make sure both sides are as flat as possible for obvious reasons, so it holds itself up and you can put something on top of it. Essentially you just take the log and you split it. This one's small enough to where we only split it into fourths, but you can also split it into sixths or eighths depending on the size of the log that you choose. Essentially you just light it in the middle and it just burns itself down the core, and it keeps, you can see the oxygen's going to flow through it. As we said, it is self-fueling, so that's one of the great things about this. We're going to go ahead and get this lit and we'll be right back to you. So you can see we have the fire going now. You can see how the flame is channeling up through the middle of it. This is very, very hot and it will burn for hours. If you needed to go gather some stuff for shelter, you could leave this and it would keep itself burning. You don't have to worry about this type of fire. You can see how we just got it lit there in the middle and it is just burning. It's a very simple fire. This is why I like it. It definitely has a lot of uses.
Alright, now for the second Swedish fire torch that I think is pretty cool. You're not always going to have a big log handy to cut up unless you cut down a tree or something, but odds are in survival situations or if you're just out camping, you're not going to have that with you. So the second one we're going to do is we do have some limbs out here, kind of big. They've been out here last couple days. It's been raining, so these are extremely wet. I did cut one off. I just want to show you how wet that is. And I do have a dry piece so you can compare it to. Look at the difference. This one's a little bit more gold looking, not because of resin or anything, but the fact that this is just soaking wet. So, and you might be asking, well, how are we going to start a fire with soaking wet wood? Well, that's what we're going to go over. So hang tight. Let me prepare this branch here. I'll cut it up in little pieces about this big and we'll go from there. I'm going to be using my folding saw. In case any of you ask, this is the just Gerber little folding saw. It does come with another blade that's a little bit smaller. We're going to use the big teeth though, because it's just going to rip right through this stuff. What we're going to do is, now that they're processed, we're going to take this twine, the same twine we used for the other fire torch, and we're going to weave it in between. So under, over, and then you want to make sure it's down a little bit, because you're going to actually take this extra one that you have and you're going to want to come all the way back. So I'll be right back once I get that done, and I'll kind of show you what we're aiming to do. Alright, so here we've got it. I got it wrapped. It's standing, as you can see. It's not a true Swedish fire torch. It is just a version of it that I've seen before. The whole goal of this is you want the wood standing up, not sideways, because what's going to happen is once we light the inside with our tinder and a little bit of dry wood that we found, what it's going to do is actually boil the water out of the wood. So sit tight. We'll get this lit. I'll come back once the water starts coming out and I'll show you why I love this one. Okay, so I went ahead and I carved myself a feather stick, which we're just going to place down here. It's going to be the main kindling to start everything. And I do have some wood shavings, just because we're out in the shop. What we're going to be using today to ignite are these Yuko stormproof matches. Let's see if I can get it in here a little bit. There we go. Stormproof matches. They're waterproof, windproof. These are amazing. So let's go ahead, pull one of these out. we'll go ahead and we will just put this down in here. And the nice thing about this is that tinder's going to catch, but since this is so wet, that's not going to set on fire. So we'll come back once it gets going a little bit and the water starts cooking out of the wood. So as you can see right here, see how it's starting to boil? Let's see if we can get a little bit closer here. So the moisture, the fire is so hot, the moisture is actually starting to cook out of the wood. So now on the inside of that, the inside of the wood's going to start to char, while the wet wood on the outside is going to keep it cold. Therefore, you're going to have a nice little second version of the Swedish fire torch. Now, what's nice about this is you just got to have small kindling. It's not very hard. You just take it and you keep it dropped down in there, and it'll just keep burning. And you can take like a little pot or pan, fill it full of water or anything, put it right there. It's extremely hot. All the heat's focused towards the middle.
So you can see that that first Swedish fire torch we showed you is really easy to do, and it's really useful. It's going to keep itself burning for a really long time.
And that second Swedish fire torch that we did, as you saw, it is a little bit harder to set up. You do have to prep it a little bit more than just the one log. But if you're in a situation where you don't just happen to have a cut-off log, it is very handy. You can get fire, you can get water cleansed if you need to boil it for a while. It is very doable still. You just gotta, there's a little bit more steps that you have to do as far as the kindling and all that kind of stuff to get it started. But once it is started and the water starts to boil out of it, it is a self-contained fire and it'll just keep burning and burning and burning. We appreciate you watching our videos. Like and subscribe if you can for more videos. We have more coming. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and we'll see you for the next video.